Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to Cthulhu Death May Die Comic Book Extras Volume 2. So this is video part 2, so in part 1 we went through all of our brand new investigators. We talked about what all they did, and we looked at the comic book a little bit. So yeah, there was, I'll just mention this right off the bat, spoilers. If you don't want spoilers for stuff that may be in the comic book, that's to do with the episodes that we're going to look at today. So we're going to go through episodes number 8, The Towering Inferno, and number 9, The Cursed Boy. So yeah, we're going to jump through those. Also, there might be spoilers just at obviously going through these. If you don't want to know what's in all these boxes yet, don't do that. I'm not going to reveal everything just yet, but just as a reminder, Lost Episode 8 requires Cthulhu Death May Die core box. The first one, Episode 9, requires The Fear of the Unknown, which is Season 3, the other big core set. So if you do pick this set up, you will need that. And then at the end of the video, after going to this, we're going to re-look over the Iron Maiden stuff really quick. So hang out for that if you want. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop into this. What do we have in here? So each episode box is going to add some other really cool stuff in it. So on the back, it's going to show us what we're going to get. Of course, we're going to get our episode card, our 8 Mythos cards, our 15 Discovery cards, a monster card. We're also going to get some tokens, 7 assignment tokens, 3 ritual circles, and 12 fires. So 12 fires should actually be pretty nice. Obviously, it means you have to worry if you don't want to get set on fire. But having more of these available is kind of cool. And then we're also going to get these assignment tokens and ritual tokens, which will have some different stuff, which we'll look at those when they kind of trigger a little bit more. So let's look at our first big card here. I'm going to zoom back down a little bit so we can read what this says for us. The Towering Inferno. So this is episode number 8, which again requires the original core box set. So if you picked up Season 3 core box set, or if you're picking up Season 5 core box set for Maiden Reaches, you may not have all of the correct stuff to play this, because it might require certain monsters that are available only in that set. It says, after following a strange creature through a secret passage, we come across a mansion on fire with weird chanting coming from the basement. Strange symbols on the floor and captives laid out for sacrifice. Just another Tuesday night. Let's split up and stop this damn ritual. Alright, to disrupt the ritual, each investigator must complete their assignment. Use the wound tokens to track assignment progress. Very interesting. The Elder One advances, place 2 fire tokens in your space and 1 fire token on each ritual circle. Special rules: when an assignment is complete, flip it to its completed side. If the investigator dies before completing the assignment, the game is lost. Ew, so that's not good. Extinguishing the fire is one of our free actions. One of our actions we can take for this episode actions. Make a roll and move 1 fire token in your space for each success. And neutralize ritual circle. In a space with a ritual circle, make a roll. If you roll 3 or more successes, remove the token from the board and gain 1 level in any skill. Keep the token near your dashboard as a reminder. Ooh, so that's kind of fun. It's an additional way to gain a skill beyond just regular leveling up. So it can help you max some of your stuff out. If we take a look at our map, this is another reason why we're going to need set 1 for the map, of course. We have our starting space. We have our 3 different gates. 7 fires spread across the board. We have 5 cultists that get us started out on the board, a Shoggoth, and 2 hunting horrors. Each investigator receives 1 random assignment to complete. Engaged with only 2 investigators, each investigator receives 1 additional assignment. So let's take a look at those assignments quick. So one side we'll have the checkboard, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. We have some options here. So what do we have to do? Neutralize 2 ritual circles, kill 2 hunting horrors, kill 1 Shoggoth, release 3 captive companions, which are on the discovery cards, kill 4 cultists, reach your 3rd insanity symbol, or extinguish 7 fires. So that's kind of cool. Gives you some different options of what to play throughout the game. each one might maybe easier or more difficult depending on what character you're playing at. Some guys have more offensive skills, so killing 4 cultists or 2 hunting horrors might be a little bit easier. Killing Shogoth, being he has a lot more hit points, might take a little bit more. Might take some teamwork. Some guys can investigate better, so they can do the captive companions. I'm assuming, of course, it doesn't specify in here, but it just says each investigator must complete their assignment. I'm assuming, though, it means, and that might be a question because it doesn't say in here, whether that means anyone has, as long as that is done, then that's completed, or if that person specifically has to do it. So, for example, if I'm playing this set and I'm playing as Urza, do I have to specifically kill both hunting horrors, or as long as 2 of them are killed, the assignment's complete? And the question there kind of becomes, because if all of a sudden it's specific people have to do specific things, because the only one that's 100% by yourself is reach your 3rd one. Otherwise, all the rest, other people could be doing and might end up doing it. So it's kind of interesting to know. Alright, let's look at our monster card, though. We have our hunting horrors, which will be used, and our Shogoth. So, 2 and 1 in the pool, so you just have to show on the board. 4 and 10 health. So it's basically killing 2 of them's 8 versus 10. If a hunting horror survives an attack, the attacker loses 1 additional sanity. And Shogoth says when attacking or attacked, each tentacle makes the investigator lose 1 additional sanity. So these guys are going to be a pain to fight against. Alright, before we look at our discovery cards, let's look at our 8 mythos cards. So here we have, so it does say episode 8, our lost episode 8 down there. The hunting horse sort of have our symbol showing the guy's going to activate, I think, every card, just about every card gets one of those. It says each hunting horror moves 1 space towards you, then you lose 1 sanity for each hunting horror within 1 space. And then here has a thing that lets you resummon them, so if they do die. So this is definitely one way that could potentially come up that if one person kills it, someone else could come back. But since 2 start on the board, you have to, you have to take them out first. Because, we have two that start on the board. But no Shogoth starts on the board. Oh, he starts down there in 14A. So, you'd have to kind of watch watch how you're doing that, because you have to kill 1, but they could potentially be resummoned. We have another hunting horror. This one says the nearest hunting horror moves their space. You'll summon it to the red circle. We have a Shogoth. Move Shogoth 2 spaces towards you. Investigators take these spaces. Enter, take 1 stress, and lose 1 sanity. It shows our actual symbols on there. Monsters in the parlor. Each enemy moves 1 space towards you, summoning a horror and summoning a Shogoth. Unsettling energies. Each investigator within 1 space of a ritual circle or a gate takes 2 stress. For each stress they do not take, they receive 1 wound instead. The Blaze. Catch one fire, then add 2 fire tokens to your space. Ooh, so that way if you leave, you're going to really get set on fire. We have Inferno, add 1 fire token to your space, and also to each adjacent space. Then move each enemy 1 space towards you. And then the last one we have is Hidden Cultist. Take 1 stress, then summon 1 cultist to your space. And of course, these get mixed in with the Elder Ones Mythos cards as well. So there's only 8 of these, you might not draw these right away. Alright, then we're going to take a look at our discovery cards. And let's see what we have for fun things in there. We have a Terrified Captive. A trembling captive holding a candle. You may claim 2 stress to claim the captive if you do not place a fire token on your space and claim the pyrophobia condition. So we have a companion for the captive. Discard and release this captive to heal 2 stress. Right, so we did have that 1 token that said release 3 captives. So you don't want to hang on to them too long, but hey, they have a good benefit for getting rid of them. And then we have a condition, which is pyrophobia. When rolling for fire, you cannot reroll the dice. So it's kind of cool. So it's like, if you don't calm the captive, he drops the fire, and then now you're going to take damage. We have Grateful Captive. The captive looks delighted to see you. You may claim the captive, and then you can discard to heal 2 stress. Chains. A captive crouched in the corner. The chains are attached to the floor near him. You may claim the captive, or take 1 stress to claim the chain. You take the companion. Now it's a victim. Discard release this captive and heal 2 stress. So the other ones are just called captives, and he's called a victim. They probably should have called him captive. I think they mistyped that because it would have made more sense. Another way to get the chain, once it's an item, once per turn, you may, as a free action, you may move 1 enemy from an adjacent space to your space. Nice, pull guys in view. The Royal Scepter. A magical scepter is displayed in a glass case. A captive look as it is astonished. You may claim the captive, or you may claim 1 stress. Basically, it's kind of like you want the items. You gotta knock the captive out or get rid of them, or you can just take them to help them out. So you have captive, same thing. We have scepter. You may move 1 additional space when you run. When you release a captive, heal all your stress instead of 2. The other thing says release 3 captives. There are plenty of captives in here. Quiet captive. A captive, calm, captivating, holding a blue amulet. Either claim the captive or take 1 stress to get the soothing amulet. Companion does the same thing. And soothing amulet, when you rest, heal 1 additional wound or stress and remove 1 fire from yourself. That could be very powerful. Pyrophobic captive. Heat, flames, fire. I need to get out of here. If you're on fire, you must claim him. Otherwise, you can claim the captive. So again, you have same ones we've seen before. Pyrophobia. When rolling for fire, you cannot reroll dice, or you get the captive. Ritual Knife. A frightened captive holds a ritual knife. I like the captives aren't always on the same side, so you could gain some from one, some from the other. Or you can take 2 straps to claim the knife. So the knife says when you attack, gain a green dice. If you have 1 or more captives, gain 2 dice instead. So kind of a bonus for hanging on to them. Hesitant captive. The captive gives you a suspicious look. You may take 1 stress plus 1 for each captive you currently have to claim the captive. I could see that. He's like, why do you have 4 other people with you? Why are the 5 of you ganging up on me? The Flamethrower. A cultist corpse holding a flamethrower on the floor and a sobbing captive nearby. You may claim the captive or take 2 stress to get the Flamethrower. Flamethrower says once per attack before rolling, you may add 1 fire token to your space to deal 2 additional wounds. That can be very helpful. First aid kit. You see a first aid kit on a table and a captive hiding below it. Either claim the captive or take 1 stress to claim first aid. For the first aid, you may trade. You may heal 2 wounds from you and each other investigator in your space. That's pretty fun. A fire extinguisher. A locked fire extinguisher cabinet. Maybe you can pry it open. Take 2 stress to claim the fire extinguisher, otherwise claim the pyrophobia condition. The fire extinguisher gain 1 free extinguish fire action each turn. The Circle of Fire. An intact book inside a ring of flame. Why isn't it burning? Add 1 fire token to your space. You may catch 2 fire to claim the Book of Arcane Fire, or claim the pyrophobia condition. The Book of Arcane Fire. Gain 1 green die for each fire token on your space to a maximum of 3. Not even on your character, just in your space. So that could be cool. Team that up with the flamethrower. A bottle of vodka. Refreshment or an armament. Claim the bottle of vodka or claim the Molotov cocktail. If you get the bottle of vodka, discard this card to heal all your stress and discard all your pyrophobia conditions. Or Molotov cocktail. Discard this card to put a fire token in your space or in an adjacent space. Each figure in that space, including you, takes wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in that space. Again, this can be combined very well with like some of the other abilities. A burst of flames. When wave of flame surges towards you. If there are any fire tokens in your space, discard all of them and claim the forbidden flame. You catch one fire for each token discarded this way. Otherwise, add one fire token to your space and claim pyrophobia. If you have the forbidden flame item, when rolling for fire, you gain 1 free reroll. If you attack, gain 2 green dice. If you're on fire, this item cannot be traded. And then our final discovery card is the wardrobe. It's full of clothes and bedding. You may claim fireproof jacket or claim the blanket. For the fireproof jacket, when leaving a space with a fire token, you catch 1 less fire. Or blanket, gain 1 green die to extinguish a fire. When extinguishing a fire, you may also remove fire tokens from adjacent spaces. Nice, you can just do it from a distance as well. So cool. That is really neat. We have some neat stuff there. Here's our summoning circles again. And we have our fire tokens, double-sided. So yeah, that's a fun little one. Basically, the entire point of this one is freeing captives and not getting set on fire, which I think are both very, very good things to do or not to do. Don't want to get set on fire, but yeah, it adds a little bit extra element to some of that things. I don't know if there's any investigators in the game that have an ability that will like interact with certain other things other than the general skills. Like there's maybe one guy that's gains a bonus from being on fire, because it sounds like there's a lot of quests that are going to set things on fire. That might be kind of a neat scenario for them. They might be a little bit more overpowered, but hey, I don't mind having overpowered characters once in a while. It's kind of fun. Alright, we are going to hop into episode 9, The Cursed Lost Boy. So yeah, we have... I'll move some of the cards around. I didn't pull this one out ahead of time. Alright, so we're going to start with our story card. So it says, a mysterious cult behind the disappearance of a young boy is going to sacrifice him for the ritual. We must find and rescue him before it's too late. The cult followers are not spilling the ritual's location, but we have to make them talk. To disrupt the ritual, find and rescue the cursed boy. When the Elder One advances, summon one cultist at the nearest gate. Special rules. Cultists are summoned with a clue token from the pool, including setup. Each cultist moves with the token. If a cultist the clue token dies, return the token to the pool and shuffle it. So we are going to get... so look on the back here, we have mystery tokens, search tokens, and clue tokens. To go with the rest of it. So we're going to get 6 clue tokens, and there's our 6 mystery search tokens, which will have some symbols on the back. After an investigator has found all 4 hints, remove all clue and search tokens from the game. Ignore effects that involve them from now on. Reveal each mystery token as a free action. An investigator in the same space as the gem and the boy tokens can rescue them. The investigator carrying the tokens gains their bonuses. And if an investigator dies, they drop the tokens they are carrying in the same space. The boy and the gems may be traded. Interesting. So we have, if a cultist with a clue token is on your space, that's when we're like you're gonna beat the guy up. You may roll two or more successes. Take the token. If it's a hint, keep it. Otherwise, remove it from the game. And then we have inspect on a safe space. Pick up 1 search token in your space. If it's safe, I think they meant to add if it's safe, keep it. If it's a hint, if it's safe, you can search. Okay. If it's a hint, keep it. Otherwise, remove it from the game. Alright, so yeah, we have 6 tokens. So 2 of them on each one will have these clue tokens to build all 4 of them. So yeah, you're going to have to search potentially, may get lucky and have to only do it 2 times. You may have to do it up to 6 times, depending on how unlucky you are. Same thing with coerce. You may have to coerce a cultist up 2 times to 6 times. But it also says, remember up here it says, each cultist moves a token. If a token of the clue token dies, return it to the pool and shuffle it. Then you'll have to wait till you resummon another one unless you find a different guy. So you have to try and roll successes to be able to do it without overkilling them. So that's kind of a fun thing. And then we get the puzzle pieces, which we want to do. The mystery pieces. There's 3 mystery pieces. We don't know which one's which or where they're going to be, but they're going to have special abilities. And it does show it's the 4 different clues you would get. So we're going to read what those do quick. We have monster. When revealed, summon the unnameable in this space if it is not on the board. Then move it 2 spaces towards you and discard this token. The boy. When making any roll, you may count any number of tentacles as successes. They still count as tentacles. Or again, you may add a success and a tentacle to your roll. So interesting. So again, our thing is we want to find and rescue the boy, which is what we want to do. Which you have to find the clues, find four of the different hints on the things, on the clues in the surface, so we can get the mystery. So here's how this is going to go. We're going to shuffle the mystery, place them face down in those different areas. We have a staircase. We have our gates. We have 3 cultists with a clue from the pool. So only 3 of them are going to be available at a time, and you have to just potentially 6. So you don't know which ones are going to be where. The unnameable starts out there. The Gaia Youngth. Yeah, so very interesting how this is all going to work. And then, yeah, even after you find all the things, and now you have to get to them as well, which is going to be interesting to do. So, cool. Let's look at our Cursed Boy monsters. We are going to have the Gaia Youngth. Says when it attacks, heal 1 for each Elder Sign rolled. Only has 4 health, which isn't too bad, but it's going to potentially heal. And the Unnameable cannot be wounded while there's another monster or cultist in the same space. So either you have to take them out, or you have to use an ability like Sneak to have them follow you around. Very cool. And that monster card might randomly summon him. Alright, then we have our Mythos cards. So we're going to look at those. We have the Gaia Youngth. Move the nearest Gaia 1 space towards you. If you have the anxious condition, move it 2 spaces instead. The Unnameable. Move the Unnameable 2 spaces towards you. Any cultist in the space it leaves must follow it. Oh, so that makes it impossible to hit it. The Summoning. Move both of them 1 space towards you and then or summon them. My lips are sealed. Return the clue token from the nearest cultist with a clue to the pool and shuffle it. Then move that cultist 2 spaces towards you. Oh, interesting. Because, yeah, then you don't know what it's going to do. Protect the boy. If the boy has been revealed, move each enemy 1 space towards him or the investigator carrying him. Otherwise, move each enemy 1 space towards you. Feelings of dread. Each investigator takes 1 stress for each hint token they have. If you have to make a roll, then make a roll. If you have 1 free reroll, if you have toughness, take a wound for each success. Memory lapse. So we're actually going to get 2 of these. And they're going to say, if you have a hint clue, return token to the pool. If you have any hint search tokens, place 1 token face down in your space. If there are no more than 1 search token in space, shuffle them. Summon 1 cultist. Oh, that could be bad, because if you draw those, also now you're losing all your progress. Which is unfortunate. Alright, then we have our Discovery cards. Alright. Our first Discovery card is the German Shepherd, a large muscular dog. You may claim the fierce dog. It's just interesting. So it's like it goes 1 direction, so you get Charlie, the fierce dog. Gain 1 extra green dice to coerce. When you take a hint token, you may take the thrilled dog side of this card. And then you flip it over to Charlie, the thrilled dog. Gain 1 to coerce. When you have him, you gain 1 swiftness. Which is neat, because if you didn't have swiftness, now you all of a sudden get it. So that's kind of a fun, different way to do a companion card. We have the Tommy Gun. Someone left a Thompson submachine gun here, you may take 1 stress to claim the Tommy gun, or if you do not, claim the anxious condition. So Tommy gun weapon item says when attacking, you may take 1 stress to deal 1 additional damage, or the anxious condition, you must take 1 stress to perform a coerce or inspect action, or a wound. If you do not take a stress. If you already have 2 anxious conditions, you must discard 1 of them and 1 item. If this is a weapon discarded, also take a wound. So this is kind of an interesting little scenario here, because can you afford to take the 1 to get the Tommy gun? Once you have it, you don't have to ever actually use its ability if you don't want to. But if you can't take the stress or decide you can't afford to, then you have to take the anxious, which is going to make everything else even harder to do, because now you can't do course or inspection without taking an additional stress. And if you get too many of the anxious, you have to lose weapons and take wounds. Alright, undercover agent. Who are you? What are you doing here? If you have a weapon, you may take 2 stress to claim the suspicious agent. If you don't have a weapon, you may take 2 stress to gain the confident agent. Interesting. So you have to take 2 stress either way, but it's going to depend on whether you have a weapon or not. So we have Kirk, the confident agent, gain 1 free attack each turn. So if you don't have a weapon, you gain an additional attack. If you have one, once per turn, you may take 2 stress to perform 1 free action. So again, depending on what character, what investigator you have, that might not be bad. You have a way to heal your stress pretty quick, so you get free action attack action every turn. Although the other way might be better. But again, it's if you have the weapon. If you have a weapon, you can't get him and you can't take that. So it's kind of limiting what you can do. So interesting, different. Depending on if you take weapons and stuff, what's going to happen. We have a grenade launcher, a glass display inside a rifle adapted to launch grenades. Say hello to my little friend. You may take 2 stress and gain 1 wound to claim the grenade launcher. With the grenade launcher rifle, when you attack, gain 1 green dice. You may attack a target 1 space away. A camouflage coat might be good for hiding. You may claim the coat if you like. If you don't have a companion, you may inspect and rest in unsafe spaces. Ooh, so that could be very helpful. We have a knife, a very sharp knife, handle with care. You may take 2 stress and take 1 wound for each stress you cannot take. If you took 2 stress, claim the sharp knife. If you took any wounds, claim the bloody knife. Oh. So, if you take 2 stress, you can adjust your knife. But if your stress is maxed out, you're going to hurt yourself and take a bloody knife. So you get the sharp knife. When you attack a target in your space, gain a green die. If you have the bloody knife, when you gain a free reroll to coerce, and when attacking a target in your space. Interesting. So it could help with the coercing ability, but the reroll might not be as good as just gaining an extra die, depending on how you look at it. We have some grenades. Rifle grenades, probably from the Great War. You may take 2 stress to claim the rifle grenade. Discard this card to deal 3 wounds to all figures in your space, including you or in adjacent space. If you have the grenade launcher rifle, you may choose up to 3 spaces away instead. Oh, a combination weapon. That's fun. Collect them, trade them with each other. We have a scared cultist. Please, just let me just get away from me with those things. I will do anything. You may take 1 stress plus 1 for each weapon you have claimed to the scared cultist. If you do not claim the anxious condition. Again, anxious condition kind of sucks. So you have to take stress to perform coerce or inspect actions. And then as soon as you have 2, you have to discard 1 of them and an item card. And if it's a weapon, you lose damage. You take wounds as well, so you don't want to gain them because it's really going to hurt you. You could get the companion, Boyle, the Stare Cultist, where you have him to gain 1 level in Stealth. He'll help you sneak around. It's kind of fun. The drinking cabinet, full of bottles of whiskey. You may claim the whiskey bottle. If you could the whiskey value, you may take the anxious side of this card to heal all your stress. And you get anxious, so it might be worth it if you have a lot of stress built up. The Herb Garden. Some of these plants are bound to be useful. You may claim medicinal herbs. Discard to recover all your health and another investigator on your space. Awesome. The Altar of Sacrifices. A bloody altar with a strange statue. What could have happened here? Lose 1 insanity for each hint you have. Or you may take 1 stress to claim otherworldly item. If you do not claim anxious conditions, you have to take sanity loss no matter what. Otherworldly idol says gain 1 free coerce action each turn. Okay. Otherwise, you get anxious, which is not good. Weapon Arsenal. A cult game prepared, it seems. You may claim 1 stress to claim the shotgun if you do not get the anxious. If you have the shotgun, when you attack, you may target a number of additional figures in the target space. Split the wounds as you like. We have a drawer. Wonder what's in here. You may take 2 stress to claim the handgun or get the anxious condition. If you have the handgun, when you attack, you may gain a free rate. When you attack, you gain a free reroll. If you have the marksman skill, gain 2 instead. Otherworldly chant. Chanting comes from within the walls of some forsaken language. Lose 1 sanity for each hint you have. You may take 2 stress to take a clue token from any cultist or from the pool. If it is a hint, keep it. Otherwise, remove it from the game. If you do not take stress, claim the anxious token. Interesting. And then the last one we have is Bookshelf. A book with an evocative cover draws your attention. Lose 1 sanity for each hint you have. You may take 2 stress to claim the Book of Commandments or gain anxious. With the Book of Commandments, once per turn as a free action, move 1 monster in your space away from you. Cool. So this is kind of neat. So that is what we have for our Cursed Boy Lost Episode 9. So what's really neat about both of these chapters is this one you're then getting a lot of them anxious and have to deal with that, but you get some cool weapons to be able to use to like let you do extra different stuff. And otherwise you're kind of playing like a mystery game. You gotta run around trying to find stuff. And then the other one had all the fire tokens, and you gain a lot of pyromania, which hurts if you're on fire, and then fire takes more damage. And then you're getting a lot of companions, which give you extra bonuses, which you could gain a companion and then get set on fire and let them take the damage instead and just keep burning all your companions alive. So yeah, very interesting different things to tie in. Plus the way this all works is, of course, you tie these in with different elder ones, so the more sets you have, the more different ones. So some of them might tie in better or work more efficiently with other characters than some won't. I imagine if there's an elder thing that really likes to play with fire, the fire one's going to be a kind of a pain. If there's one that maybe says, hey, it doesn't take damage from weapons, this one's going to be a lot harder or a lot more difficult to do. Alright, so the last thing we have for this box set is we have Nyarlathotep Stage 1 for Season 4, Episode 7. I didn't reveal him before because I didn't know if he would come up as part of one of the episodes. And be like, hey, add this guy in here. But he didn't, so we're going to show him off last. So we have an extra stage for him. We have a different Stage 1 setup. The final form of Nyarlathotep starts on the summoning track, and its human form starts on the board at the yellow gate. It cannot be attacked or damaged while it's in human form. If an investigator dies before Stage 2, the game is lost. So, before we read the rest of this is our final miniature, which I didn't reveal before. It does say on the back of the box, but we have him in his human form, with all his tentacles starting to pop out. It's kind of neat. So we get an alternate version of an extra version of a Elder God, which again, this is one where you're going to need Season 4 to be able to use. It says you are in the same spaces. The human form, as a special action, you can make a roll. For each success, you may move him 1 space away. Interesting, so you can throw him away. And then when he advances, move each moon beast 1 space towards you. Summon 1 moon beast at the nearest gate. Place 1 fire token in his space. Then, if he is in his human form, moves 2 spaces towards you. So he's going to keep trying to get on top of you. And you have the option of trying to throw him back. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the 4th season right now, so I can't show you what the other things and how they interact with that. When I get that box set, I'll probably maybe come back even during that unboxing and maybe show this off to see how he interacts. But he also mentioned he places fire tokens, which kind of was maybe something figured because his head's on fire. Plus, in Season 5, we have an episode with little fire monsters. So you can see how some of them might work a little bit better with the other episode we have. Alright, so that's what we have for our Comic Book Extras Volume 2. So we have 2 fun, different episodes. We have 6 new investigators, which do some pretty cool stuff. We did get a new Elder one, sort of. I guess the option there, would you have rather had a monster that you could add as an unknown monster to play anywhere? That would have been kind of cool as well, versus just an extra stage. But it might be the fact of maybe making the boss a little bit easier, or just changing how they work. And that's not even a bad thing either, since you have to always play as Elder ones, and there's only so many of them. There's a lot more episodes than there are Elder ones. So even just having, like, an expansion somewhere that gives you, like, the stuff to, like, change every Elder one up a little bit wouldn't even be a terrible idea. Alright, then the last thing we're going to look at in this video is we're going to redouble look at the Iron Maiden stuff. So I did do these during the Iron Maiden unboxing for all the Zombicide, Black Plague, all that cool stuff. But we want to just take a look at it with the Cthulhu stuff, since we did have, since now we have some other stuff, we have something more to go over. So in Iron Maiden Pack 1, we're going to get a bunch of different guys. In this one, we are going to get Undead Eddie, the Unknown Monster. So what here we're going to get is we're going to get an unknown monster to use, adding into that. So this is the only downside of the Iron Maiden packs. If you're not familiar with them, they come in 3 packs. And the first 2 you can buy fairly easily. The third one, it was part of a pre-order bonus. You had to get the first 2, so it's a little bit harder to get. But each one had something from each different CMON game. So some stuff had some for one, some had stuff for a different one. So if you only play one version of the game, like if you only play Zombicide, or only play a specific Zombicide rather, instead of all of them, like you only play Black Plague, or if you only play Cthulhu, you're basically having to buy a pack to maybe get 1 or 2 cards that work for that game. Then all the rest of the content was sort of useless to you. If you play all of the different games, then this is a great buy for you, because you got a bunch of content that can sometimes be used in multiple modes. I didn't bring the miniatures over with me, unfortunately. I probably should have, but that's alright. We'll just look at the cards. We do have the Unknown Monster, which we get Undead Eddie. Of course, they're in the back. There also says H.P. Lovecraft in there. It mentions that. So it's a good tie-in that way. So this will let you play him in any campaign, or any story or episode as an extra monster. It says, when destroyed, summon him from the furthest gate. It says, when the Elder One advances, Undead Eddie moves 3 spaces towards you. If not on the board, summon him to your space. Alright, I decided to go find him. So we see what he looks like, just for anyone that's curious. So there he is, ripping from the ground. Let me see what you can see. It says on his grave there. Oh, my camera will focus in that much. Yeah, here lies. Here lies someone. But yeah, so that's him. So he'll be an extra monster that'll pop up on the board. Edward the Head, probably. Eddie the Head. Usually is what his name is. So yeah, that's kind of cool that we get him in pack 1 there. So if you have him, it says place this card one of the slots in unknown monster. Shuffle the 4 unknown monster cards on the Mythogast, then place Eddie figure in the reserve, so you won't know if he's coming or not. Yeah, so definitely a fun extra one. He just can roll 3 of those dice, so that's not terrible. That means there's no tentacles on him, at least. So yeah, interesting, different character we get to play as. Alright, for Iron Maiden Pack 2, which again, the more available ones, we are going to get a brand new Investigator. So this is fun. So we'll flip this over, zoom out a little bit so we can see the entire thing. We're going to get Eddie the Head from London, England. Nightmares coming all the time. Nightmares will give me peace of mind. So this guy's pretty cool as well. Take a look at the pool, and what do you see in the dark face beckons me. It's probably just more lyrics from the song. I'm not going to go through all of them. But we get a straight-jacketed character, which, honestly, if you're starting to think about a game that involves insanity as a core mechanic, having at least one character in a straitjacket on a padded room definitely makes perfect sense, right? You're gonna have at least, you have cops, you have investigators, lawyers, we have hypnotists we just saw in the box set. Going through all that stuff, we have inventors and scientists, we have gangsters, we have basically everyone from just about every profession and thing you can imagine. So why wouldn't you have at least one person that is generally insane in a game where sanity is a core mechanic? It's not just like, oops, I accidentally went insane. You know, like, I died. Like, I got six insane counters. It's literally a resource you can use sometimes. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. So he has brawling and swiftness, which gives him extra attack and extra movement. But his main new ability, his unique one, is, can I play with madness? Zoom down a little bit more so we can get a little bit better look at this. These cards just don't really stay in there that well. I need a bigger easel for these bigger cards. At the end of your turn, you may lose 1 sanity to heal 1 stress. So he can force his insanity meter up to trigger that to level up his stuff a little bit quicker. If you gain it higher, instead heal 2 stress, so you can spend to gain stresses a lot quicker. We just saw that last episode. There's a lot of stuff like to get better weapons and get stuff like that, you have to spend stress. This might be fairly decent for him. Instead, heal all your stress, and you do not die from sanity. At the end of your sanity track, you take wounds instead of losing sanity. So basically, it's a cool idea. You can force him up, but then you're almost going to want to get that last one. So you can't die from sanity or going insane, but you can start taking wounds instead. And you can still use that to heal your stress. If you focus on things that spend a lot of stress, you can definitely do some cool stuff. Yeah, so he has a neat mechanic. The play's a little bit different from the other characters. I think that'd be kind of fun. Alright, then we have Pack 3, which again I say was like the pre-order bonus one, so it's a little bit harder to find. Either you have to find someone selling all 3 as a bundle, or it's going to be by itself a little bit more expensive. It only had 2 different characters in it, but they were larger characters. So here we're going to get Fear the Eddie Unknown Monster. So we are going to get another Unknown Monster card, which is cool. So we have Fear Eddie, who has, and we can zoom this back down, we don't have any bigger cards. Says, when destroyed, each investigator within 1 space loses 1 sanity. And it says, when the Elder One advances, Fear Eddie moves 2 spaces towards you. Then each investigator in the same space as Fear Eddie must move 2 spaces away from him. Other enemies follow. If not on the board, summon him to the nearest gate. So he's going to move towards you, and then each one of his spaces, he's going to move them 2 away. So he's going to basically keep pushing you back away from stuff, or getting you away from where you probably are trying to go. So it's very interesting. And then we have his miniature, if you want to call it a miniature there. So he's growing out of a tree. I would also be terrified if a tree got up and started moving towards me, especially if there's like this demony looking guy coming out of it. And then as a comparison, so here's our Eddie investigator for size. And then here was our Narla Holthakep. So he's like the size of an regular investigator standing up. So he's about twice the size. So he's fairly bit bigger. He's not quite an Elder One, though. That would have been kind of neat if they would have made him an Elder One, but you would have had to include a lot more cards to do that, so I can see why they didn't do it. But yeah, that's pretty fun. The other thing we are going to get in that set is, or in that box, is we're going to get a brand new Insanity card. So these are always fun to get more of, right? Because then you have more options, more different things. So it says, this one's actually pretty unique. It says, setup. Place all darkness cards randomly in a face-down row. When you rest, you may look at one of them. Fear of the dark. Choose a darkness card, reveal it, and resolve it. Then shuffle the cards again and set them up again. And we have 5 darkness cards that we're going to get. So you're going to get one of these random things. This actually makes this tricky because lots of the other Insanity cards, you could at least be like, oh, it's going to do this when I get that. You could be like, I have 2 more hits until I can do this. I can kind of plan for that. This one, you don't know what you're going to get, so it's harder to plan for it. And then even after you get one, you reshuffle all the cards. So you could get the same one if you're unlucky every single time. Now imagine playing this with our Eddie Investigator, where you're basically trying to force this to happen more often. Could be kind of interesting. So we're going to have a few things here. And then we're going to have, when I'm walking a dark road, heal all of your stress, then remove this card from the game. So again, this is going to definitely, reduce what you can do. But this one's actually very beneficial, depending on when you get it. If you obviously get it, you don't have any stress, then it was kind of a waste. I am a man who walks alone. Heal 2 stress. If there are any other figures in your space, remove this card from the game. A little anxious when it's dark. Take 1 stress for each other figure in your space. Now we're getting to some of the bad ones. Fear of the dark. You must move 2 spaces away from your current space. Enemies will follow you. We can also move through and grab more. And I have a constant fear that something's always near. Move the nearest monster directly into your space. So cool. So 2 that are fairly decent. 1 that might keep coming back, depending on what's happening. And then 3 that are fairly bad. I mean, they don't like do any extra damage to you, but moving you or moving monsters to you is probably bad. This is going to mess up your plans. This one could be bad depending on how you're doing, especially if you have other monsters following you around. Take a bunch of extra stress. But yeah, that's a very neat extra mechanic for the game. And then we have one very, very last thing, is we have another Insanity card. Now this was a promotional card. If you were going through the Kickstarter, this was added in at one point. But in case you didn't follow the Kickstarter, this was through what's the name of the Board Game Geeks website. They have their store, which added this in there as one of the promo with a bunch of other CMON cards. Again, kind of like the Iron Maiden stuff. If you only play one version of the game, what the other ones were some Zombicide and some Ankh cards, then you're buying this for 1 card and you're getting a bunch of cards you're going to use. If you play all the games, great, you got a pile of cards you can use. So this one's going to be just a new one we can get, which again is always fun. It says, well, there's a wound token on this card. You only can communicate in gestures or gibberish. If you don't, remove the token and take 2 wounds. The rallying seizures. If there's a wound token on this card, remove the token and heal all your stress. Otherwise, place a wound token on this card. So this was kind of a fun little gimmicky one. Some people might not want to do stuff that limits their communication, or they have to do other verbal or physical actions. Don't like it. It's easy enough just to not shuffle it in, but it's kind of a minor thing to add a little bit extra thing. A little extra challenge. So basically, yeah, it says, if there's a wound on this card, you can remove it, though, and heal all your stress. Then you can do whatever you want, right? You're perfectly fine. Then when you hit the next insanity, if there's not a wound on here, you'll get it. So basically, in between each and other sanity, you'll heal all your stress, otherwise you'll take it. So again, something you could maybe plan for, spend a bunch of stress right before this is going to, your next one, this is going to heal, and then you'll otherwise realize you can't. It says, well, there's a wound on this card, you can only communicate gestures with gibberish. If you don't, remove the token and take 2 wounds. So you could also opt to just, if you know you can maybe heal 2 wounds, suffer the 2 wounds, again, spend your stress back up. Then when the next insanity hits, this is gonna put it back on there. Otherwise, we can stick around. It just might depend on who you're doing. This could also be a fun one to play with Eddie with, right? Because you can keep forcing your insanity up every time you have a bunch of stress. To keep healing him that way, but then you can also force it up and then kind of playing around that. Might be something neat there. Alright, that is what we have for Call of Cthulhu Death May Die stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will definitely try and pick up Comic Book Volume 1 and do a video on that one as well. As I'm going to back the newest campaign. I'm going to try and go all in and get everything. So then eventually when that shows up, I'll have a bazillion videos doing Seasons 1 through possibly 6. And maybe even the Dark Providence crossover characters. So yeah, stay tuned for those. If you guys have questions, comments, whatever, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. See you later. Bye.